Zac Yang has a dream. He wants to go to Oxford University. He's realised this as a result of what he did in the first year of his A-levels. He visited Oxford, then he went to Harvard Summer School. He came back from Harvard Summer School. He thought, I want to go to an elite university. He's done a bunch of extracurricular activities to make his application look good. What's he got to do next? He's got to do the application. And that's what we're going to talk about next up in our conversation. Now, in England, if you're applying for a university in England, you have to do what's called UCAS. I'm sure you've heard of that if you are applying for an English university. If you're applying in the United States, many colleges have what's called the common application, where you fill in one application that gets sent to a whole range of different colleges. Different places around the world will have their different ways of applying to your university choices. Zac did UCAS, and he's going to talk to us about that now. So, Zac, let's just talk firstly, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the personal statement and other parts of the application process, let's just talk very broadly about the application process. It's a process where you have to fill in an application form online. You have to submit some written work, including a personal statement, including, in your case, a piece of writing, which you can tell us about in more detail later on. And you've got deadlines as well. And if you're thinking of applying for Oxford or Cambridge in 2024, the deadline is the 15th of October. The deadline is coming up very soon. Zac, can you give some advice to students, just some general advice about how they should approach the application when there's a deadline and they know the deadline? How should they approach their application? When should they start it? Who should they talk to? What are some key things for them to do?
Yeah, so I would say quite simple, just start early and, start thinking about it early as well. I mean, I was kind of thinking about what I should put in my personal statement kind of during the summer between year 12 and year 13, and in late August, I've began actually drafting it. And, it's great to have all that time to kind of redraft your personal statement. The quality really comes out from each, kind of redrafting. And yeah, it really shows like a personal statement that's kind of like produced over a period of time with care, and one that feels maybe a bit rushed.
That's a great point, Zac. You can take your time over it. You certainly showed your personal statement to me. I know you showed it to your history of art tutor and your art teacher at school. So you showed it to a range of people who you got feedback from. And that, because you did it with time, you were able to show it to a different people and to get different kinds of feedback. Was that valuable as well?
Yeah, it was hugely valuable. I mean, yeah, as you said, I showed it to my like online tutor for history of art first. I did the little course with her because we didn't have history of art at my school, so I wanted to get a taste of what the subject is like. And it was great because she's yeah kind of an expert on the topic. But it's also great to just get, anyone's opinion on it. It's a piece of writing. The admissions officer reading it may or may not be, necessarily an expert in the field. So, it's also important that it's a very readable piece of writing. So I think I benefited a lot by just showing it to, yeah, all the teachers from a lot of times not even humanities subjects to get their opinion. And but also, it's not, you also have to consider the different perspectives if the advice they're giving are helpful or not. Ultimately, it's your like the writing that's going to represent you, so you really want it to be personalized.
Yeah, absolutely, Zac. I mean, I always say to students who show me their personal statement. I always say, show it to other people as well. And don't just take my advice, take the best advice from all the different people that you show it to. So, yeah, definitely. Great. Start early, show the personal statement to lots of different people. What about just the more bureaucratic parts of the UCAS application, Zac? Can you leave those till the last minute? You have to do things like say what qualifications you've got.
Yeah, I would say a general advice for the whole application process is don't leave anything to the last minute. Uh, yeah, it's just not the best thing in the world. I mean, even something that seems quite simple, as like, as you say, the bureaucratic process of filling your previous qualifications, GCSE and all that, it still takes care and attention, to really be accurate with the exam board that you did, whether it was international or kind of normal GCSE. I mean, I had to recheck if I filled in everything correct.
You don't want to be that student at the last minute who's like, oh, I don't know what qualification I've got, and have to rush all that. Very stressful. So give yourself plenty of time, and then you can make sure that you've got all the details absolutely correct. Super stuff. Next up, we're going to go on and talk about the personal statement, an incredibly important part of the process. You can watch that video in my website. The link is in the description below. You ready to talk about the personal statement, Zac?
Yeah, it's actually my favorite part.